Dark as old work on the Mississippi. Dark as old work while the white folks play. Pulling emeralds from the dawn till sunset, giving no rest till the judgment day. You and me, we sweat, we strain, bodies all aching and locked with pain. Take that barge, lift that bale, get a little drunk, then you'll land in jail. I am weary, I'm sick of trying, I'm tired of living and scared of dying. That old man river, he just keeps rolling along. Good morning. This is the third Leave Your Hat On Obama seance, and as you can see from the two first, there's been some changes. There is an external. We haven't got a fireplace. There was not no wood to get. We should sort ourselves and so on, so on, so on. And then I got lost 2 teeth. It's nothing dramatic. It's from the 5th grade when I ran my mouth into the forehead of another little boy, and it was cracked, and now it has come up as parodontosis. And that's what's happening. There has been an implant and so on. So I'll be, in 1.5 months' time, I'll be prettier than ever. But first I'll tell you about a Danish philosopher. You know all Søren Kierkegaard, Søren Churchyard. I don't know, you call him Søren Kierkegaard and so on. He's an old guy. It's not him. It's another philosopher of newer date, and he's called Robert Storm Peterson. Robert Storm Peterson was a painter, and then he made some very, very good figures. His most famous is 2 bums, the one called Pericles and the other Marius, and they're standing, and Pericles is very high and Marius is very small. And then Marius asks Pericles, what is the most fundamental truth that you have ever had in your whole life? And he stands there with his wide open eyes and wait for the wise answer. And then Pericles says, Marius, looking downwards, of course, says, beer is beer, and vice versa. And you see, he used that trick as taking a temperature on the public, because if they didn't laugh, they had got no humor, and that's catastrophic. He said, people without humor, they should have pension for crippleness or inability or whatever. Well, yesterday I read the first four pages of Origins, the species of the origins of the species, of course, by Charles Darwin, and it was that much with what was it? It was the survival of the fittest, of course, that was turned into the survival of the fattest, of course, among people. And I tell you that if any people, I have never seen so many people with so much survival as in America. Once in Utah, I saw 2 policemen on a motorbike, and they had uh, thighs uh, you know, like bags for such a bike there, and I wonder whether the bike survived. It sounded so, but they would survive. That's for sure if that's it to do. Okay. Now the more serious thing. In 1972, there was given out a book called Limits to Growth, and became a Bible for us on the university. Everybody read it. And there were people like Sir Walter Scott, I think, was Sir Professor this and that, and science people from all kind of areas. And then read this book, and then made linear programming. That was very advanced then, according to the time and to the time being. So what we've seen since. But it was really because it had a feedback mechanism that you took all the resources and said they will develop this and that way, but the pollution will react negative on this in some way. Of course, this has not become true because so many things has changed. But think about it. There's another 1 or 2 years later. They're the same. They call themselves the Rome Club, and they made a book called Blueprints for Survival, where they make a calculation that said that if any adult between 18 and 60 worked 2 days a week, you could feed the whole mass of the Earth's population. And that's interesting. That's interesting because if that is just nearly true, then what we do now, for instance, here in Denmark, we say they gotta have a job. What job? There's none jobs to get. It increases all the time. But it's not in that meaning, that's 2 days pay. So you have to narrow your spendation in, so you're gonna get anything for those 2 days pay. That doesn't mean it stops. People are creative like hell. They want to work. They want to create. So they'll be so fantastic creative. They'll make things that we are not able to imagine today. Things that are, yes, that are unthinkable for us today. Try to think a word where suddenly you had 5 days a week. Let's just assume it. 5 days a week each. What would we do? We would do something, of course. Help our neighbors. Go out in the world, see how other people lived. It could be part of education programs where they went out there and saw how they lived, what their problems was. Help them. Worked, for instance, 2 months, and then to go over the border and help them. Digging ditches, digging wells, digging everything else. Build houses, build roads. And they could do it in normal, like a storm. In my dreams, I have this picture of students and older and elder people, pensionists, that just go out in the world, see what do the people need that we help them with. And then they'll meet a world that doesn't deserve to be called the undeveloped countries. You'll find there, if you've been there, you'll know. I know it. Yes. The big question now, everybody asks it. It is what kind of businesses, fabrics, will survive. They say after the crisis, this crisis is permanent. I said that in the first. You can't fill the hole of hedge funds. That's impossible. You have to do something. And as I said before, they will fill it with free, willing work and help and be helped themselves. But which kind of factors, production, will survive? I believe that it's the smart, an old slogan from the 50s said, look, work smarter, not harder. And I believe those will be more ecological, they'll be cheap, looking to fuel, air, wind, anything, sun, energy from all kind, waves, whatever. They will, that kind of, and in the small part, they'll develop chips and smart things that will ease them. You might say, for the first time, the technology can ease them like I dreamt of, like the human race dreamt of, that the technology would ease their working day. Now we got so many days to take. There's something I want to tell you. I know, of course, that Obama, Michelle, Hillary Clinton, so on, the staff there are walking on the edge in the daily politics, are walking on the edge of a knife. I know that. I know it from Denmark, I know it from everywhere. But let's take one at a time, because they're not the same. Let's take Afghanistan. I've talked about Afghanistan also in my first DVD. And also now I can hear people run away from Afghanistan. In Denmark for the first time, there is an opposition on 55% against having people, our soldiers, in Afghanistan. And they've always started to reduce them, withdraw them from the Helmand province, taking less risky. And I know it can be difficult for your staff to take that too quick. They have to apprehend, but I know that in the other countries of Europe I've been in, the tendency is quite the same. They are out, they're on their way out. So why not now, Obama and your staff? Why not start slowly from now? And say, okay, we say, as originally planned, next summer we will be out, or we will discuss the last movements of getting out, all out of Afghanistan.